Hi guys, welcome back to my channel and thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you're all healthy, safe and of course doing great today. Today I will answer all 73 personal and pilot related questions people ask me on my YouTube channel and Instagram. At the end of this video I'd like to know if your question was part of these 73 questions and if the answer I gave you was the answer you were looking for. If I did not cover your question in this video, I might create another video, so make sure to leave that one behind in the comment section. And if you like my videos, consider subscribing and hitting the notification bell so you never miss out any of my future videos. Without further ado, let's get started. Question number 1. So the first question, how many years have you been a pilot? Well, I started in 2011 and I followed a integrated program, which means that it will take you 2 years, more or less. So I graduated in 2013, so I've been officially a pilot since 2013, I guess. How old were you when you first flew an aircraft by yourself? Well, I did my flight training in Arizona. As I said before, I started in 2011, so the first part is 8 months of theory, and after that I went to Arizona to actually do the flight training. I was 20 years old when I was there. So that's been a while ago. Are pilots being paid during this time, during this lockdown situation? Well, me, I'm getting paid, luckily, because I'm working for this great airline. But there are many pilots who don't get paid simply because they have like a weird contract or because the company simply doesn't pay them in order to make sure they can survive. However, there are also many pilots who do get paid simply because they're working in a specific country like Germany or Italy. So those pilots get paid because of the country, but not because of the company. It also makes you realize what company you're working for. Okay, favorite music or favorite band or singer? Well, I am a big fan of The Weeknd and Lana Del Rey. And I'm curious to know which music you guys like. Which aircraft type would you like to fly at least once? As you guys know, I fly the 737 right now, and I would love to fly something which is completely different, simply for the exposure, to see if it's completely different, if it's similar, and of course if I can learn something from it, because that's the main goal from everything. And I would say that the A380 is the most different from the 737, simply because of the size, because of the technology, and of course it's also Airbus, so yeah, I'll probably go for that one. Do you still fly smaller aircraft like the Piper Archer to maintain manual flight skills? No, I don't. I do perform as many raw data approaches as possible to keep my manual flight skills up to date or up to a level, let's say. I'm not really into hiring a plane multiple times to keep that valid, because keeping a single engine piston rating valid is something you do when you're really into flying smaller aircraft, if you know what I mean. Any advice for student pilots or people who are about to start a flight training? Yeah, for sure I have some advice, and it's longer than just a few sentences here or there, so I decided to make another video about it. If you're one of those 100 guys that ask me this question, then please watch the video I'm going to upload next week. Worst case scenario, what if you have a double engine failure after takeoff? Like in all situations, aviate, navigate, communicate, manage. So you fly the plane first. And when you're close to the ground, you might consider a 180 turn, or might consider, I mean, you better just perform a 180 turn and fly the plane, try to land it and do memory items if you can. And everything else is a bonus. But of course you have to safely land the plane, or at least try to start one engine. But if you're close to the ground, then you don't have time for that, you know. How did your flight training go? Any retakes and rechecks? My flight training went well because I had no retakes and no rechecks. That's not because I'm a super pilot or anything. That's just because I was super motivated in order to successfully complete it without any problems. So I'd say it was more a motivation thing. Is your pre-flight app by DutchPilotGirl supporting iOS systems? Of course it is supported by iOS systems. It's supported by Android and iOS. If you don't know anything about my pre-flight app, then check out the link in my description box. Will you collab with 74 Gear? Of course I would. I mean, I've watched some of his videos and he sounds like a very funny and nice person, so yeah, why not? Are you still based in Italy? No, I changed companies, and in my previous company I worked in Italy with my home base Milano Malpensa, and now my home base is Amsterdam. Did you get another degree in case becoming a pilot didn't work out? No, I didn't do that, but it is definitely something I would advise anyone to do, because the aviation industry is so hectic, I would say, that having something extra is always a plus. Favorite YouTubers besides aviation channels? So I've always been watching Shane Dawson. Then we have Jeffree Star. He's super funny. And of course I like to watch YouTube videos which are gonna bring me something, you know, which I can learn something from. And whether that is personal growth or another level, I'm always interested in those videos. So yeah, I would definitely recommend Mind Valley, TED Talks, and Project Life Mastery. Check them out if you haven't, because they're really awesome channels. Would you like to fly the A350, A320, A330? Yes, why not? Like I said before, I don't really care. Any aircraft which is different than mine and any aircraft I can learn something from, I would be really happy to fly. And whether that is a big airplane or a smaller one, I don't mind. Where do you live in Holland? I live in the city center of Amsterdam. Before I lived in Milan Malpensa, or Milan Malpensa, I lived near the Lago Maggiore in Sesto Calende, like a really small, cute town in Italy. But yeah, since half a year already, that time goes really fast. Okay, but yeah, since then I've been living here. It's very busy, but okay, it's fun. Are you 100% Dutch? Well, as far as I know, I am, yeah. Favorite food? Dat must be patat met mayonaise and a frikandel speciaal. What does it mean when your captain says, fasten your seatbelt, we are going around? Well, we normally have like certain calls for that when you go around, so, and fasten your seatbelt does not include in that call. But yeah, I'll be like, okay. Do you miss flying the 400? Asked by my colleague from Albastar, Tommaso Gialongo. Well, Tommaso, actually I don't miss the 400, because the 800 is just way more relaxed in flying, and you guys know what I mean. So yeah, of course I always enjoyed flying the 400, but if I compare failures with no failures, then I mean it's gonna be of course the 800. Do you think it was harder for you to become a pilot because you are a girl? This is very hard to say on social media and especially on YouTube and everywhere where people are gonna judge you. So usually I always keep quiet about this, but if I have to be honest with you guys, yes. From the moment I started my flight training until I got my first job as an airline pilot, I had to prove myself all the time, because you have the image against you, you know? If you're not looking like a guy, everybody's like, shouldn't you be doing something else, you know? But from the moment I entered the cockpit, no one has ever questioned me, like, and I never noticed anything different regarding gender perspective, let's say. So yeah, before for sure, and after that, so the last 4 years, never did I ever notice any difference. Do you watch Air Crash Investigation? No, I don't watch those kind of series, but I do watch Westworld, which is really like mind-blowing, I think, so go check that out if you are interested. What are the top 3 airlines with the best contracts? Well guys, a good company is for everyone different, or is different for everyone, because some airlines, for example, they offer contracts in which the employee can stay at home and others don't. So it really depends what you want as a pilot and what you think is more important. Some people just want to get rid of their loan and they go to the Middle East to make some real money. And for them, that is the best airline, because that's their goal, you know what I mean? They don't have the goal of starting a family, for example. But if you do have that goal, then another airline might be perfect for you. So it really depends on your wishes. What are the small buttons on the yoke? That must be disengaging the autopilot, the electric trim. We have the push to talk on the back side of the yoke. And did I mention anything else? And that's it. How do you pass your days without flying? Well guys, I don't know about you, but I have not been bored for one single day. I have been super busy with my projects, future projects, which of course I cannot tell you anything about yet. It costs so much time that consumes my whole day. And of course I keep improving my app and the ebook I made, so yeah, all those things. How do you feel during this time? Are you afraid of losing your job? Well, I think I can speak for a lot of pilots when being asked this question, because all pilots are, or most pilots are afraid of their job. They are nervous. Even pilots who thought they were secure for the rest of their lives do not have a job right now, or are maybe about to lose a job. So me as well, I'm also nervous about losing a job, because you have no idea what this is going to have an effect on. How many hours did you have when you joined your first airline? Well, I joined Ryanair 2 years after I was graduated, and I joined Ryanair with 200 hours. So I had some similar hours from the flight training and 1 or 2 flights I did in the meantime. So yeah, very little. I know that all you guys in America are like, what? Flying an airline with 200 hours? Because the people in America, they have to have at least 1500 hours, if I'm correct. Correct me if I'm wrong. When will you fly again? Well, hopefully in June. How do I become a pilot if I have no physics and math in college? Well, I don't know about the country where you live, or the guy who asked me this question, but it differs per country. Like in my country, if you don't have math or physics, then in je vakkenpakket, zoals het genoemd wordt, then you can obtain specific certificates which allow you to get invited for an interview or to fly for a flight school. I don't know if that's also possible within your country, but I'm sure something is possible, because you're not the only one who doesn't had or who didn't have a math and physics in their in college. Can passengers ask for photos in the cockpit? Yeah, of course you can ask for photos, because during the turnarounds you can walk in the cockpit. Hey, we always love those things, but obviously not during the flight. So from off blocks till on blocks, you cannot enter the cockpit. What are the first 3 steps to become a pilot? I mentioned all of the steps in my ebook, so just for this reason, so that I don't have to reply to all these emails asking me the same, you know where to find my ebook, somewhere here. So yeah, if you're really interested, then you can check that one out. Did you like working for a charter company? I mean, I absolutely loved working for a charter company, and I am super happy that I was able to get that experience in this industry. I would recommend it to anyone, because you're flying for so many different companies in such a short time that you learn so much about every different company and their way of dealing with things. You have to be very flexible. That's the other side of it, because obviously you cannot have relaxed lifestyle. It's more of an adventurous and hectic lifestyle, and of course you have to be the person for that. Are you scared, worried about how the aviation industry will transform after this situation? The only thing I'm scared about is that specific companies will abuse the situation of too many unemployed pilots, which will result obviously in deterioration of contracts. And that's what I'm scared about, that they will abuse that power. Okay, I'm not gonna call names, but I know that's gonna happen within some companies. What is the best thing about social media? Well, for sure that is being able to motivate, inspire, and help people in a positive way, obviously. The worst thing about social media, well, that is, I think, that people always have an opinion about you or think that they know you. How far from the runway before you lower the gear? That's completely dependent on the airline. Some have procedures where you have to lower the gear like 15 miles from the runway, which is ridiculous in my opinion. Who am I, right? Other companies, for example, have glide slope alive, others have glide slope intercept. Some airlines have 5 nautical miles in IFR and VFR or VMC 4 nautical miles, which is really late. As I said, it completely depends on the airline. Roller Coaster Tycoon or The Sims? Well, I never played Sims, but I did play a lot of Roller Coaster Tycoon. So for me, it's for sure Roller Coaster Tycoon. How long does it take to become a captain? Well, also this is airline dependent. According to the rules, you are able to become a captain when you pass the 1500 hours. Practically, that actually never happens except for business aviation. So most airlines, they will not upgrade you when you have less than 2850 hours, if I'm correct. Within other airlines, like for example the airline I'm working for right now, they have a crazy long seniority list, so it completely depends on that seniority list when you become a captain. And in every airline, that is different. Windows or Mac OS? I always used Windows, but I ended up, I don't know if it was the laptop or the system behind it, but every time my laptop crashes or a program crashed, and I mean, it seemed to get worse and worse, so I changed to Mac OS, and since that moment I never had any troubles. So maybe it's me, but maybe it's also the system. What would you say to little girls and boys who might want to become a pilot? I would say find your path, find what you want to do, what drives you, what gives you energy, and go for it. No matter what people say, just follow your dream. Success never comes at ease. Remember that. What was the hardest part of the flight training? I think that is the theory, because there's so much stuff that you have to learn in such a short amount of time that it makes it hard. Like, the material itself is not really hard, but the time span in which you all have to learn it and save it within your mind, that is hard. Have you ever had to divert to another airport? Yes, I had a couple of medical emergencies, and that means that you have to divert to any airport which is below you. Do you always use the PAPI lights? PAPI are position approach path indicator lights, which are beside the runway, and they provide you visual clues if you're high or low. If they are available, yes, I for sure will be using them. But if not, then not. You can still land the plane, you know. Do you ever want to fly for a major company? Well, a major company doesn't automatically mean that it's a good company, right? There are many major companies out there where you really don't want to work for. So that doesn't say anything about their conditions or the contracts they offer. So no, not specifically a major company. I mean, if the people are nice, the contract is good, and the rest fits with with what I think is important, then I would go for it, whether it's a super small company or a major company. When will you collaborate with Captain Joe again? Well, there's no specific date. He's always welcome here in Amsterdam, and I think we had a long time discussion about making another video here, but I haven't talked to him in a while. I should talk to him. So yeah. Have you ever landed when speed brakes were not in the arm position? No, it never happened to me, so that's good. Cats or dogs? Well, I am really a cat person. They are so cute, and I wish I could have a cat, but my lifestyle just simply doesn't fit with having any, well, at least not cats or dogs, you know. Maybe I should get another pet, but if I could choose, cats for sure. Did you ever see a laser from the cockpit? Yeah, I have. I was flying once in Kiev, Ukraine. Apparently there are a lot of lasers there, and we saw one. So we made a report. I don't know if the tower did anything after that, but what is better, departure or landing? Obviously that's the landing. And then another question, is landing stressful, or are you ever nervous during the landing? No, landing is like fun, you know what I mean? There's nothing to be, it's not stressful at all. What is your best travel tip? Well, actually I have many travel tips, which is why I published some travel related articles on my website DutchPilotGirl.com. But one very important tip, which I didn't mention there, is to travel safely. So let me explain it to you guys. Last year I spent most of my time traveling from one hotel to another on a continuous basis. And whether I stayed in a tropical place like Cabo Verde or in England, I made sure I never wasted my time. There is simply so much to do when you run a YouTube channel and online brand. And in order to do so, I need devices which connect to the internet, and internet can be a very unsafe place, right? Think about identity theft, getting hacked, etc. I might have stayed at over 200 different hotels, but I never used a public Wi-Fi. I simply wanted to avoid any risks of being hacked due to a sniffer installed on a Wi-Fi network. One of the best tips someone can give you when you're traveling is getting a proper VPN. And this is where NordVPN comes in, a leading VPN company with super fast servers which offer double data encryption for increased anonymity. NordVPN protects your data while traveling and in public places like airports and coffee shops. It also enables you to unlock Netflix and your favorite entertainment websites while being away from your family and friends during layovers. They reached out to me and offered to try their service, and as you can imagine, from that moment I never looked back. We stayed in touch with each other, and I am super happy to announce that this video is brought to you by NordVPN, which results in you getting a 17% discount on their service. And for $3.49 per month and an additional month free. You don't have to worry about your online privacy and security anymore. NordVPN was also selected as one of the best VPN in Best VPN Awards for 2020. And they are compatible with most operating systems like iOS, Android and Windows. I truly hope you will consider using a VPN, and if you're interested in this offer, then go to nordvpn.com/dpg or use the promo code DPG to get a 70% off the 3-year plan plus 1 month free. The link is also added in the description box below. What is your favorite plane? I don't really have a favorite plane. I like my Boeing 737, you know? It's a fun plane. How many times do pilots make an auto land? Well, that completely depends on the weather and company procedures. For example, in my last company, every month we had to make an auto land or simulated auto land in the plane to keep it valid, or I don't know for what reason, but we had to do that. Obviously, when the weather is below minima, you have to perform an auto land. You cannot land manually. So in those cases, which is actually super rare, right? It's very rare for me at least to do a auto land. And there's nothing fun about it because the captain is doing the landing and you're just monitoring, or the captain is flying, but the plane flies itself. It's way more fun to manually fly it yourself. Any details about your new projects? No, I cannot say anything about that. So, is having a social life or family difficult as a pilot? That completely depends on the airline as well. I mean, in my previous airline, yes, it was like almost impossible because you are never home and you're sent all the time to different destinations, which can be super fun. But if you're willing to start a family, then it might not be the best airline. The airline I'm working for right now does provide you a lot of free time and, yeah, a social life, let's say. You are able to build a social life. Do you miss flying in the US? Yes, I do. Actually, I do miss the US crazily because the last time I've been there was during my flight training. I always wanted to go back to Phoenix and Arizona, Scottsdale, all those places. I have great memories from there. Yeah, also the flying part I miss, especially those flights to Coolidge or the airports which were uncontrolled. Which else was? Gateway? No, that was not uncontrolled. Okay, there was another airport, I don't know, I don't remember, but yeah, flying in the US means for me a lot of freedom. I don't know how it is right now regarding the rules, but at that time the Southeast practice area was like really an uncontrolled part. So yeah, I definitely miss that because all those restrictions, I mean, they're not fun. What type of 737 do you fly and do you need different type ratings for that? Can you fly the MAX 2? Right now I only fly the 800 and the 700. In my previous company I flew the 400, but I don't fly the 400 anymore. If I can choose between the different types, then I prefer the 800 because it's just very reliable and it's like a relaxed airplane, let's say. Can you fly the MAX 2? Well, for all those different types, you don't need a new type rating, but you do need simulator sessions and a theory applied for that specific aircraft. So that's probably the same case with the MAX, but now what's happening with the MAX, nobody can tell because maybe there'll be a lot of other simulation sessions when that airplane is about to fly again or will be flying again. Airbus or Boeing? I mean, come on guys. This is not even a question, you know. Honestly, I don't care. I mean, the video I made with Captain Joe, it was just like a fun idea. Me, I love to fly an aircraft. Like, I really love to have the feeling that I am in control, that I'm not just monitoring systems. This is why I prefer Boeing, but I have never flown in an Airbus, so how can I judge that then? What is the most bizarre thing you experienced during a flight? One of my subscribers on this YouTube channel, I don't know if you're watching, but I had no clue that someone from this community was on board. So we were flying to Hurghada and I was going to the toilet, you know, having a chat with my colleagues in the galleys. And all of a sudden there's a guy coming up saying, hey, I follow you on YouTube and can we make a selfie? And then I heard from my colleagues that this guy already thought it was me, but it was not sure. And then, of course, when I entered the galley and you know, went to the toilet, and he could see that it was really me. Yeah, that was really one of the weirdest things because I never, like, I know that you guys are here, but when I fly, I am flying. You know, I don't think about anything else. So it's really fun to combine those things all of a sudden, and to have someone who is actually watching these videos on board. Do you need to go to a university to become a pilot? No, you don't. What is the best memory from your previous company? Well, that is for sure the Spanish and Italian people, all the different companies we flew for, the experience I gained during all these different flights. The layovers are for sure one part, because when I came from Ryanair, I was not used to having any layover, so that was really fun for me. And the Christmas dinner. Kan je iets in het Nederlands zeggen in je volgende YouTube filmpje? Ja hoor, dat kan. Nou, ik ben niet echt gewend om in het Nederlands te praten. Zeker niet over luchtvaart. Dus daarom praat ik altijd in het Engels. En ik moet ook zeggen dat ik moeite heb met Nederlandse briefings geven. Want tot nu toe in mijn carrière heb ik altijd Engelse briefings gegeven en met collega's in het Engels gepraat. En nu werk ik opeens voor een Nederlandse luchtvaartmaatschappij waarin iedereen Nederlands praat. Dus mijn briefings zien er een beetje combined uit op dit moment. En ja, dat is wel, daar moet ik wel even aan wennen. Was dat genoeg? Okay, Thailand or the Philippines? Both. You should visit those countries because they're absolutely amazing. And if you're going to the Philippines, go to El Nido, Palawan, of course, because El Nido is located in Palawan. Puerto Princesa, you should go to Bohol. Coron, I think it's called. Visit the Philippines, it's really worth it. And Thailand, I love Canterbury, as we call it. I think it's called Kanchanaburi. I don't know how you explain it in English, I have no idea. It's like 3 hours away from Bangkok, which I would really recommend. It's from the River Kwai. Koh Samui, of course. Phuket, Krabi. Well, there are many nice places, but yes, visit those. Okay, how much does a type rating cost? Once again, that depends on the airline. You can pay 30, 40, 50 or 80k for a type rating. And sometimes you have to pay it, or actually most of the time you have to pay it, and some are lucky and they don't have to pay for it. It completely depends on the airline. What was your scariest failure? For me, it was definitely the one time that I had a engine fire warning at V1. And as some of you might know, V1 is the most critical time during the takeoff phase. You're close to the ground, your speed is low, and you want both engines to work. In the end, it happened to be a wrong indication of lights and warnings, because we didn't have an actual engine fire, but the indications were so. So we had the bell, the lights, everything, but we followed all the procedures and landed the plane safely. Do you have any tips for upcoming flight school students? Follow your dreams, but be smart. Why are the engine start switches placed in continuous? Well, that is to provide a constant ignition on the selected igniter. And that is to prevent a flame out during critical phases of flight and in severe weather. So yeah, that's why we place them in continuous. That's it guys, the 73 questions you asked me on my YouTube channel and Instagram. So I hope you enjoyed, and I hope that your question was part of this question bundle. If not, then make sure to comment below. Check out my Instagram for daily posts and stories about my aviation life, and give this video a thumbs up if you liked it. And don't forget to hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. Clicking the notification bell will ensure you never miss out any of my future videos. I hope to see you in the next video guys. Bye bye.